Are we live? Are we actually live? Let me put my rice down real quick. Somebody in the chat, let me know if you can hear me, you can see me. Let me know if this is a reality. Someone let me know. I just need one person. Are we live, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not starting the review until I know that we are officially live. Someone let me know. Oh, it is live. Thank you, DJ or DG. I don't know how to call you. Want me to call you Dog or whatever? I don't know. DGK Dog says, yes, sir, it's live. Yo, we are live. We are officially live. It's been a while, people. How you guys doing? You know, I know you guys have been seeing me because I post the reviews every single week, but they're pre-recorded. I have not been live since January, I think like 18th or 19th. I think it was like the week before the Royal Rumble, if I'm correct. All right, so it's been 3 months. 3 months. I am officially live, but it's been 3 months since the last live podcast, review, stream, whatever. Because you guys know I had a copyright strike for another one of my anime videos. It was a bunch of bogus bullcrap, and I was able to get the strike removed, so I had to wait 3 months to get the strike removed. I've had copyright strikes in the past. I'll probably have some in the future. Hopefully not, but it's probably more likely that I'll get a copyright strike for some bullshit reason. And for some reason, every time I've gotten a copyright strike in the past, I've still been able to live stream. But this was the first time that I wasn't able to live stream after getting a copyright strike. So for the last 3 months, I've had to do pre-recorded podcasts. And I always do pre-recorded podcasts for SmackDown, but for Raw and pay-per-views, I'm almost always live every single week. So I know a lot of you guys who are used to the Monday Night Raw reviews, right, that were live right after Raw went out the air. You know, I would be at work and I would do them. You know, now you guys had to get used to me doing pre-recorded podcasts. And I know there was some weeks where I skipped Raw reviews. I didn't even do a SmackDown review last weekend because I didn't really feel like it. But, you know, it feels so good to be back. So good to be back live. So let's do it correctly. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G-Lauren33. I am back here today with another episode, a live episode of the Legit Shoot podcast here on Tuesday afternoon, reviewing Monday Night Raw for April 26th, 2021. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on the podcast. No matter if you guys are in the chat room watching live with me, or no matter if you guys are watching on demand, thank you guys for joining me. It is so good to be back, right? So just want to make a quick announcement, right, for the future of the podcast, right? SmackDown reviews will continue to be pre-recorded. I cannot go live on Friday nights or Saturday morning. The only way I could go live is maybe doing a SmackDown review on a Saturday night, right? But, you know, in most cases, you'll just get a pre-recorded SmackDown review. That's the way it's almost always been. I will most likely be live for most pay-per-views, right? It's just that I'm graduating, so my work schedule is changing up a little bit. So there may be some pay-per-views where you may not get the pay-per-view review live after the show. You may get it live the next morning, right? Kind of like what I'm doing with the Raw review today. But I'll let you guys know. If you guys follow me on social media, that's where you guys will, you know, get all the updates, especially on Twitter, right? On Twitter, that's where you guys want to be. Follow me on Twitter because that's where I give you guys updates on when I'm going to go live, when I'm going to do live streams, you know, if I'm doing a review or not, all that good stuff. So if you guys are wondering when is Fitz going to post his review or what's going on, go to my Twitter. That's the best way to know what's going on with me. Also, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. But for Monday Night Raw reviews going forward, right, next week we will be back on Tuesday afternoon, just like we're doing it right now. It may be a little bit earlier. I'm thinking maybe 12 o'clock, right? It might be a little bit earlier, but but I will let you guys know about that. But in a couple weeks, when my work schedule changes, I might go back. I will most likely go back to doing Monday Night Raw reviews right after the show goes off. A couple weeks. For the next couple podcasts, expect the Monday Night Raw reviews to be right Tuesday afternoons. But in a couple weeks, I expect the reviews to go back to what they used to be right before I got the copyright strike, and that would be Monday nights right after Raw goes out the air. SmackDown will continue to stay pre-recorded unless I decide to go live like a Saturday afternoon. Say we're doing like a pay-per-view preview and prediction show, which does mean we will be able to do live reaction streams again. But you guys know I only do live reaction streams for big pay-per-views. It sucked that I didn't get to do one for the Royal Rumble or Wrestlemania, right? But either way, I'm just happy to be back with you guys live, like officially live. I know during when I premiere a review, I would be in the chat room on my other Google account, just seeing what you guys are saying and stuff like that. But now that I can actually see your live feedback, man, it feels good. It feels good to finally be back. Yours truly, the tribal chief of the IWC, is back, right? I know you guys love your JD from NY and your BC Amplified and your Star Monster, but let's be serious here. There's only one guy that knows how to do it the best way. I'm the head of the table when it comes to YouTube podcasting. I'm just joking around, but you guys get the deal. Nobody does it like me. I'm here to educate y'all, right? And that's what we're going to do, right? But yeah, that's going to be the schedule going forward. Monday Night Raw reviews will be live Tuesdays, but, after a couple weeks, we'll go back to Monday nights. SmackDown reviews will continue to be pre-recorded unless I say I'm doing a stream on Saturday. And pay-per-view reviews will continue to be live, but they might sometimes take place on a Monday morning. It just depends on my schedule. All right? Anyway, let's look in the chat really quick. Yeah, I see JDE. I see You're Botted. I see Casey. What up? Oh, Casey Morgan. Casey says, at JD, do you know about the situation between Sasha Banks and Autism Speaks? Fans have been talking about it on Twitter today. JD says, not going to go into all that. I know nothing about them or what they're doing with the shoes. All I know that it supports along with others. The only thing, Casey, respond to your question, I don't know much about the situation. I think it has something to do with the Autism Speaks company, right? It doesn't really have anything to do with Sasha and Mikaze, right? It's mainly Sasha's husband, Mikaze, who designs these shoes in partnership with Foot Locker and Autism Speaks, and I believe like the proceeds go to the Autism Speaks company, but there were some ethical issues. I don't know the whole story. I'm not paying attention to it, right? Just like at the end of the day, Sasha doesn't really have much to do with it. So it doesn't really make sense to put her name into something. Her name's just there because she's Mikaze's wife. This is more Mikaze with partnering with Foot Locker and Autism Speaks, right? What's important is supporting the cause. If you choose to buy the shoes or whatever, support the cause. Sure, there may be some ethical issues there, but honestly, don't go bashing Mikaze. Don't go bashing Sasha. This is not really about them. It's more about the company itself. All right. Your fight stick? Just put a picture of it in the chat. That would be the easiest way. Because then I would have to share my screen on Twitter, and they would have to see our conversation. Hold on, maybe I might be able to do it. I don't know. But, yeah, that's what I know about that situation. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I would have to scroll high up in the chat to find that fight stick. Because dude sent a lot of messages. But, yeah. If you guys can't tell, I'm kind of delaying talking about Raw because I'm kind of in a good mood, and not everyone knows that me talking about anything but Monday Night Raw will keep me in that good mood because Raw sucks. Raw sucks. I know, and the thing about it is we actually have a decent amount to talk about on the podcast today. It's just that Raw sucks. So even though there is a lot to talk about that came out of Monday Night Raw, most of it is not positive. The show is an absolute disgrace. The show sucks. How else do you guys want me to put it? The show sucks. It's night and day between SmackDown and Raw, and I don't get it. I truly don't get it. Because, like I said, you got SmackDown, you got interesting things like Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Is Daniel Bryan going to get banished from SmackDown on Friday, right? You know, you have a pretty good IC title picture with KO and Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn and Big E. I'm enjoying that right now. The SmackDown Tag Team division's not even that bad, you know? The women's division, don't get me started on the whole Bianca issue, but, you know, for the most part, SmackDown's decent. It's watchable. Raw is not watchable. It hasn't been. And now that I actually have to force myself to get into the review, man, the Raw just sucks. It just sucks. Raw's unwatchable. It's just that simple, guys. Raw is unwatchable. Can't enjoy the show. Real Dude Stewart. Oh, good to see you, bro. What time is it in England right now? Because I know when I go late in the afternoons, like I know it's like late over there. Let me put the light up on my camera. All right, looks like my camera battery's already almost dead, which makes zero sense because I charged it earlier. Either way, it's whatever. You know, it's the first podcast back, you know. But anyway, yeah, Raw sucks. What else you guys want me to say? Raw sucks. You know, it's unwatchable. The WrestleMania Backlash build has been awful. I have no desire. They think you guys, I see people getting excited about Braun Strowman being added to the Bobby Lashley Drew McIntyre match, making a triple threat. You realize the only reason why Strowman's being put in that match is because he's going to take the pin. Lashley's not going to lose that title. I was actually more concerned that Lashley was going to lose the title to McIntyre because why would they be booking a rematch? No, I'm actually confident now that Lashley's most likely going to retain because I'm really hoping they're putting up Lashley for that epic dream match with Lesnar if Lesnar comes back this summer, right? You know, unless they're going to go with Drew. Unless they're gonna go with Drew pinning Strowman to keep Lashley from getting pinned, but I don't really see that. I think it's more likely that Lashley's gonna retain. Let me just put the light up on my other camera. Yeah, and that is that. But like I said, man, you know, you have RK Bro, right? Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. Look, it's kind of intriguing, especially when I read you guys the report I have on what's going on with that story. It's kind of intriguing, but you know, it's not enough to save the show. You have Alexa Bliss and Lily, which, you know, I like the character work Alexa's doing right now, but it's, you know, when are we gonna see Alexa in the ring? Right? You can't just cut promos every single week. We got to see you in the ring develop that character more and more, right? The Raw Tag Team Division, garbage. AJ and Almas have not been on the show since they won the titles at WrestleMania. I think it was because I read another report that Almas is injured, you know? So, I don't know. I'm not going to say you take the titles off AJ and Almas. I don't think you should strip them of them, at least not yet, but how long is he going to be out for? You know, if he's going to be out for a couple months, then you strip the titles, right? But, you know, the Raw Tag Team Division is lacking. The Women's Division isn't any better, right? Rhea Ripley, I guess, is officially a heel because you had Rhea Ripley tag with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler last night. So I'm like, okay. For a couple weeks, I don't know, the way they book Rhea Ripley makes no sense. And 1 second you're supposed to believe she's a babyface, the way she's talking and interacting with Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Another second she's teaming with heels, right? But nothing about her character really screams heel right now. So it's like I said, it's another example of WWE not knowing what they want with Rhea Ripley, but yet you guys want them to rush into a Rhea Ripley Raw championship reign when we all know Charlotte's just waiting to take that title from her. and they haven't booked the match yet, but I'm giving it till next week. They're gonna book most likely Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte in a triple threat match for WrestleMania Backlash. That's what I'm thinking. So, like I said, the way they're booking Rhea Ripley right now makes zero sense in my opinion. You know, Charlotte Flair gets suspended last week, all right, and then she's back a week later. Like, oh, and people say, oh, Charlotte Flair was missed. First of all, no, she wasn't. She wasn't missed at all. Plus, secondly, she sucks. She sucks. Plus, it made no sense. You know, she was gone for a week. Why did people act like she was gone for 2 months? She was on the show last week. She wasn't even suspended because they're not even touring right now. You know, when they perform on Raw in the Thunderdome, that's the only time they're performing throughout the entire week because of the pandemic. So, like, what's this whole shebang that we're doing here with Charlotte Flair? You know? Plus, you have Sonya Deville, who is technically a SmackDown official. Why is she on Raw making decisions for Adam Pearce? You know, I don't like Adam Pearce. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I'm just like, where's the logic here? When was Sonya official for both shows? Are they planning something here with Sonya Deville? I don't know. But it's another logic gap. Also, you have freaking the symbolism of the Rotten Tomatoes on this show. You had the New Day and Damian Priest legit throwing Rotten Tomatoes at the Miz, John Morrison, Elias, and Riker last night. And it's very symbolic of how bad Monday Night Raw truly is. Really. Rotten Tomatoes. If you were to rate Raw on the Rotten Tomatoes scale, it would be at the complete bottom. It would be spoiled, rotten, not fresh at all. Because Raw is unwatchable garbage. And, you know, I know I'm missing one thing. I don't even remember. Oh, yes. What's his name? Adrian Vink, I think that's his name, of the Raw commentator. Right? He is awful. I know a couple weeks ago I said, oh yeah, he has to get used to being on Monday Night Raw. But he is terrible. It's been 3 weeks. He's not getting any better. He made like a boat reference. I don't know. I'm going to try to find the tweet because JD tweeted it. And I thought the same exact thing when I was watching this show. Right? Let me see if I can actually find the tweet. Oh yeah, plus did you guys see what the CDC said? You know, it says fully vaccinated people or fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside except in crowded settings. And so, I don't know. I don't know if this is a sign of things getting back to normal or not. But let me try to see if I can find the tweet from JD. It's down here somewhere. Because I was thinking the same exact thing. All right. Oh, yeah. So Braun Strowman, during his match with Drew McIntyre against T-Bar and Mace, right? Strowman's running around the ring doing his normal stupid train gimmick, right? And he runs around, and guess what Adrian Vink says? I don't know if his name's Adrian or Adnan. I don't know. I don't care, right? Guess what it says? We're going to need a bigger boat. First of all, is it Braun's thing that he's a train? Trains don't go in water. This guy is so bad. Like the difference, man. And then later in the show, he was talking about water buckets during the New Day and the New Day, Damian Priest, and the Miz, Morrison, and Riker 6-man tag. Or no, it was the Miz, Elias, and Riker 6-man tag. He was talking about water buckets. And then later on in the show, during the women's 6-man tag, he's talking about Natalya and Lana. Or not Natalya. I'm sorry. I'm getting things messed up. But he's talking about Lana and TikTok. The guy sucks. This show, we already know Raw is bad. But he makes the show 10 times worse. It honestly makes me miss Tom Phillips. And you guys know how much I dislike Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton as commentators. The only time, because me and one of my friends, Paul, we went back the other day and we rewatched Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 35, which is a fantastic match. That was the only time Byron Saxton was good on commentary. Only time. You guys know I do not like Byron Saxton or Tom Phillips. I am missing Tom Phillips because of how bad Adrian Vink is. At least, you know, Tom Phillips kept the show on track a little bit. Even though he was scripted and he was a political figure and he's a yes man to the highest degree. He'll repeat stuff over and over and over again to put it in your head. It's just like, shut up. Do you have any original thoughts for yourself? At least the guy kept the show on track a little bit. And he made a little bit of sense as a commentator, right? Adrian Vink is awful. Awful. Horrendous. The references this guy was making last night, I was like, really? Really? We need another boat? And I see in the chat you guys are saying from the Jaws movie, okay? And what sense did that reference make in that minute? What sense? It's awful. It's terrible. And you got Samoa Joe. You released Samoa Joe from the company. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, this company makes zero sense. Why? Why? Why did you release Samoa Joe and bring this clown in? It's already worse enough that Byron Saxton's already a bad commentator on his own. But damn, for once in his life, Byron Saxton is the worst commentator on the commentary team. Because Adrian Vink, whatever you want to say his name is, the guy's awful. The guy's awful. He needs to go immediately. I'd rather have Vic Joseph from NXT, for real, commentate Monday Night Raw. These commentators have no sense. No sense. Yeah, I know you say Vic Joseph is bad too, but he's better than Adrian Vink. Like, honestly, these commentators and these backstage personalities. I know I've been complaining about it, but you guys seen these backstage personalities? They are awful. These backstage interviewers, man. I miss Charlie Caruso. She was the only one that had personality. And Renee Young when she was there with the company. These guys, I don't know their names, but they are bad. So bad. Raw is so unwatchable right now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Well, Edward says, Graves gets on my nerves because he loves overrated Charlotte. True, but remember how mad he was, he was simping over his girlfriend Carmella on SmackDown? That was awful. But let me take a look in the chat real quick before we actually get into the show. Real Dude sure says they're not Kayla. Kayla's not terrible, but I don't like Kayla that much either. I don't hate Kayla. She has a personality at least. Right? But I'm not the biggest fan of Kayla Braxton, But out of all the commentators and the backstage personalities, she's probably the best out of them. We need people like Pat McAfee, Mauro Ranallo. We need guys like that with personalities that know how to do their damn job. Michael Cole's not terrible, man, but after what he did with the Bianca botch at WrestleMania, the guy just needs to stop looking at notes sometimes. There's a reason why JR was so good at what he did. Because JR didn't want to know the finishes of the matches. When you heard JR on commentary, it was organic because he was in the moment. He was a fan just like you, just doing his job. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! What the hell is this? Austin just made a deal with the devil. The Rock has won the WWF title. Like, those moments... that commentary, it plays in your ear. It stays there forever. Because it was organic and it felt great. You don't get that with these guys and these dumb commentators today. They're too scripted. And Michael Cole's, I respect the man, but the guy got to stop being so scripted. For real. Stop having so many notes. Like, try to be more organic, hands off. Just let the emotion come to you through the match and let that be heard through your voice to us, the viewers. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. The commentator's job is supposed to not only let you know what's going on in the ring, but it's also supposed to make you feel part of the story and the match itself. But man. Yeah, I agree with you too, JD. Yeah, Jerry Lawler. Jerry, he was funny. He was charismatic. Plus, he when he talked about the Divas, man, I couldn't help but laugh every single time. Yeah, Joey Styles. I miss Joey Styles. Oh, we got a chick fight from ECW. Miss Joey Styles, man. But now let's actually get into the show. Since I'm live, I gotta answer a text message. I can't just pause the review and answer my text. But let me just send a message to my friend. All right, let's go. Anyway, I remember when Austin ran over the Rock's car with his monster truck. Tiandre says, what do I think about the new commentary on SmackDown? I already said it. Pat McAfee's the best commentator in WWE, and he's only been there in 2 weeks. Because he's organic. He's not scripted. Everything he says, you know it's coming from the heart with him. Plus, the guy is generally entertaining. All right, I actually got to pull up my notes. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. I usually always have the notes prepared, but I didn't have them prepared today because I was so excited to finally be back doing a live stream since it's been so long. But, yes, the show started off with Braun Strowman telling Drew McIntyre that he was going to do what he couldn't do last week, and that he was going to take down Mason T-Bar, a.k.a. Dominic Dijakovic, and Dio Madden. I'll say the same thing I said last week. Why aren't these two going by their NXT names? They don't have masks anymore. We're not stupid. We know who you are. So, like, WWE should just put them back to their NXT identities. Same thing with Mia Yim if she ever does debut on SmackDown. Like, calling them T-Bar and Mace makes no sense at this stage. Right? But, anyway, Strowman went up against T-Bar and Mace. He held his own for a little while, and then all of a sudden the 201 handicap started to play its role, and then they started beating up on Strowman. So then eventually the match got called off until Drew McIntyre came out to make the save. Why? What? Like, we all knew he was going to come out. We all knew how this was going to go. There was no difference with what they did the week before. It was just Strowman was in McIntyre's place from last week. It shows how uncreative they are. They do the exact same thing. And this is how you choose to open Monday Night Raw. Garbage. And you know what I mean? I thought they would do something like at least maybe Strowman faces T-Bar and then McIntyre faces Mace one-on-one. Maybe something like that. And then we would get the tag team match and, maybe next week. But instead, they decided to, do this crap. And it wasn't anything better. It was legit the same match we saw last week. So we come back and the tag team match that we were originally marketed to was taking place, right? And all of a sudden, near the end here, McIntyre had momentum until he accidentally took Strowman with a clothesline. So then Mace and T-Bar won the match by countout. And then afterwards, Strowman power slammed McIntyre and yelled at him for not listening. So, a complete waste of our time. Terrible way to open the show. But what else do you expect from WWE? They're uncreative. And they suck at everything they do. So, Strowman goes to Adam Pearce. And he says that he wants a match with McIntyre, right? But Strowman says when McIntyre claymored Randy Orton to become the number one contender in their triple threat match a couple weeks ago, right? He didn't pin him. He pinned Randy Orton. So Strowman said that he was still in contention for the number one contender spot for the Universal Championship. So he said that if he was able to beat McIntyre tonight, the match at WrestleMania Backlash would become a triple threat match. Not that I care. Like, Strowman being added to the match doesn't make it any better. I wasn't excited for the match to begin with, so why would I be excited with Strowman in it? We all know Strowman is a one-trick pony. Does the same shit every single match. There's a reason why I love Sasha Banks and Kofi Kingston and guys like that. They're always looking to change their offense. Guys like Strowman do the same thing every single match. So he doesn't add anything to the match to me because we know he's going to do the same shit. Running power slam, clotheslines, running over people in the outside of the ring. It's the same stuff. So I was just like, Strowman's most likely, the job he's most likely going to have in this match is to take the pin. It's that simple. He's here to take the pin. No, nothing else. There's no difference. Hate it. All right, what up, sleeping angels? Good to see you. It's I was the thing that makes me excited about being live again, and the fact that we have this many people here on a Tuesday afternoon. It makes me happy because it tells me in the back of my mind that no matter what time I go live, no matter what time I post a podcast, you guys are gonna listen and you guys are gonna watch this because I guess you guys find me entertaining. You guys enjoy my podcast. You guys enjoy my analysis, right? So I really appreciate it. So just wanted to take a second and just say thank you to you guys. See you guys in the chat today, especially when I always go live on Mondays, right? I used to always go live on Mondays after the show. The fact that I'm here on a Tuesday afternoon, we're talking about Raw, as bad as the show is. The fact that you guys are here and taking time out of your day just to listen to me, and you guys are enjoying the show, you guys like the videos and everything like that, I appreciate it. So thank you guys for the support. So just wanted to take a second and say that, all right? But anyway, let's get back into this garbage can of a show, all right? All right. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So yeah, garbage way to start the show. But getting into the next segment, we had The Miz, John Morrison, Elias, and Jason Riker. They were in the ring for another episode of Miz TV, right? So he was talking about his WWE Network documentary and his reality show, Miz and Mrs. It's the same thing with The Miz every single week. He also took credit for Bad Bunny selling out his tour because they made Bad Bunny look like a star at WrestleMania. Whatever, right? But I am hearing good things about the Miz WWE 24 documentary, so maybe I'll check that out. You guys know I've never been a big fan of the Miz. I respect the guy for his dedication to the company, but I've never been a fan of the Miz. But I am hearing some really good things about it, so maybe I'll check it out. I also saw that John Cena actually promoted the documentary on his Twitter page. And you guys know Cena and Miz, they've had like a kind of like a rocky relationship over the past on screen and off screen. But to see that from Cena, for him to go out of his way to promote Miz's documentary, I was like, damn. Like, okay, maybe I actually do got to check this out. So, yeah. But anyway, this led to them performing a song together. It was garbage. It was like, hey, hop, hop, like unscripted, something like that. I don't know. But it sounded terrible. Like you had even Riker singing. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? But then Priest came out and interrupted them. And then the New Day came out with them, and they threw legit tomatoes at the quartet. So they threw tomatoes at them, and this would lead into the commercial break. Like I said, the Rotten Tomatoes are symbolic of how bad Monday Night Raw is. Like, is this really what you're doing? Are you that creatively, lacking? Do you lack that much creativity that you have these superstars out there throwing tomatoes at each other like it's a school play? You usually only see that in cartoons. I was so embarrassed. I was like, imagine if I wanted to bring a new fan, someone who doesn't watch wrestling, into this product, and then I go to USA Network, and I see Kofi Kingston, former WWE champion, Damian Priest, right, a badass in his own right, Xavier Woods, respected man in the locker room, throwing tomatoes at other WWE superstars. That's kindergarten shit. And it's just symbolic of how bad Monday Night Raw truly is. It really is. I was like, really? Do I really watch this show? I was like, bro. Oh, yeah. I see Casey says, screw Jackson Riker. Look. I'll say this. The fact that WWE released superstars, right, like Samoa Joe and Chelsea Green, who should still be with the company, if you ask me, in prominent roles, and you have guys like Riker, like Velveteen Dream still with jobs, it makes no sense. It's no sense, all right? Who's Ashley, guys? What are you guys talking about? I see you guys talking in the chat about Ashley. Who's Ashley? I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, we actually come back from break, man. The Rotten Tomatoes, as garbage as this was, I'm not going to lie, this was a really good six-man tag. This was a fun tag team match. And like I said, it's because Kofi's always innovating his offense. Xavier's always, trying new things. It's one of the reasons why I love the New Day so much. They're not your same old generic tag team. They're always looking for ways to improve and get better, right? This was a actual really fun tag team match, especially the last couple minutes, right? There was a really cool ending sequence. So Kofi got the hot tag, all right? And there was a funny moment in this match where Morrison took one of the Rotten Tomatoes and threw it in Kofi's face, getting payback for earlier, right? But near the end, they were just trading moves. There was a really cool move where I think Kofi did like a missile dropkick from the top rope, and Priest and like Xavier Woods had like Riker up. It was a really cool looking move. But near the end, Woods was able to get the pin on Riker with an inside cradle. But this was a really fun tag team match. I enjoyed it. It's just that, I would be much higher on this if the Rotten Tomatoes segment wasn't so bad. All right. Oh, you guys are talking about... Oh, really? Her real name is Ashley? See, Hey. Look, I don't care about you. You guys know I do not care about Charlotte. So, if her real name is Ashley, sure. Like I said, when I talk about somebody, I'm talking about their TV character. I never talk about the real life superstar because I don't know the real life superstar. So, if her real name is Ashley, I never knew that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not know that. I don't go researching Charlotte's name. I don't care about her. She's the most overrated female star in history, in my opinion, right? And I know some people think I'm biased on Charlotte, right? But I just don't like Charlotte, all right? That's just me being honest. But okay, I'll keep referring to her as Charlotte, though. But I guess, I thought you guys were talking about someone in the chat. Oh, what up, Paul? I see you in the chat, man. But anyway, yeah, like I said, the 6-man tag wasn't bad. It's just, the Rotten Tomato shit. Next up, we had Sheamus doing another open challenge for the United States Championship. He cut a really good promo. He said that, he would do another open challenge, but the U.S. title would not be on the line. Remember last week, he destroyed Humberto. Right? I love how JD says it. I try to put my own emphasis on it. Humberto! But, Humberto got destroyed last week, right? And Carrillo came out for a second shot out the Celtic Warrior. Here's my thing. You have people in your mid-card division that can challenge Sheamus, right? Humberto could be used. Ricochet. Drew Gulak. These are talented superstars I'm talking about here, right? You had Kalisto in there before you released him. You have the remaining members of the Lucha House Party. Like, there are names in that division that could go up against Sheamus, but you do such a bad job of booking them, right? They're off TV, they're in catering for weeks, and then they come back 2 months later, and then you expect us to care about them. Like, come on. There was a time where I thought Humberto was talented. He was actually really talented. And then, you fed him to Seth Rollins, and then the guy became useless. And now you just expect Humberto to be challenging Sheamus for the U.S. title and us to care? Like, Humberto looked good tonight. He got some payback on Sheamus, right? He jumped the champion. He hit 3 drop kicks on Sheamus every time he would get back on the apron. He did hit it with a suicide dive that sent him over the announce table. Sheamus was absolutely furious. Right? And clearly this is going to lead to a Carrillo and Sheamus U.S. title match. Maybe at Backlash. We don't know. But clearly that's where this is leading. I just wish that, Carrillo and all these other superstars were booked better. You can't expect Carrillo to be off TV all year and then for him just to come back for me to care. Why don't you have Carrillo fighting in some actual matches? And then you build him up and eventually he challenges Sheamus. I understand you need challenges for Sheamus, but this is how you build challengers. You have them win matches. Where's Ricochet? Why is he not competing? Have him start a little winning streak, and then eventually you can have him go up against Sheamus. Right? I believe personally the guy that should take the U.S. title from Sheamus is Damian Priest. I feel like that would be the perfect guy for the job, but I wouldn't be against Ricochet if you built him up correctly. But you can't expect these guys to be off TV for months and for me just to care about them. Sure, when Sheamus and Carrillo actually face off, it's going to be a good match. But the thing about it is, once Carrillo loses that match, he's going to go right back to catering. And Carrillo's talented. He shouldn't be booked like that. The mid-card should not be booked like that. Sheamus is the perfect guy to elevate that mid-card division. But you need to do your part as a company and book these mid-card superstars to actually beat legit challengers and not jobbers. Because that's what Carrillo looks like. We don't know Carrillo's not taking that title from Sheamus. If you did a better job of booking Carrillo and he was on TV more often, then maybe we would think differently. But we all know Humberto's not taking that title from Sheamus, no matter how good a match they have. And the guy's going to go right back to catering with the rest of the Rotten Tomatoes. It's a sad truth. It's a sad truth. The Sheamus and Carrillo segments have not been bad these last couple weeks. But we all know where it's leading to. And it's a problem with WWE that they keep repeating. Build up the guy so we have a legit mid-card division. Stop going from guy to guy to guy just to, have them get buried. Let's build up some actual legit challengers. Let's build up some actual stories. Let's make the mid-card division something to be proud of on this show to make Raw more watchable. It's not that difficult, people. It's not. You have 3 hours. You're in the Thunderdome, damn it. You should be using this time when there's no crowd in there, right, to build up these superstars. So when a crowd comes back, because let's be honest, a crowd is coming back. Things are slowly getting back to whatever normal's going to be. We got vaccinations coming out. Less and less people are going to be wearing masks now, right? So now that more and more people are getting vaccinated, sooner rather than later, things are going to continue to open back up more and more. So when we get fans back in arenas, they actually give a shit about these superstars. The way WWE goes about this stuff pisses me off. Because they have the superstars, they have the talent pool, they have an amazing mid-card division. But they don't do a good job of booking it. They put these superstars in catering and just expect us to care about them when we don't see them for 6 months. I'm just like, what the hell? What the hell? I know I went on a little bit of a rant there, but come on, man. That's what Paul Heyman was trying to do when he ran Raw a couple years ago. That's what people don't understand. That's what people don't understand. All right. But, clearly we'll see where this goes with Sheamus and Humberto. This is clearly leading to a match at some point. Gregory says Mandy Rose can squat 480 pounds and could suplex Nia if WWE lets her, as she is strong enough to do that. I don't know. I would like to see that. Is Mandy really that strong? Like, I know Mandy's kind of like a bodybuilder, but that would be very interesting. I would love to see that. I forgot to say, Super Chats are open. Super Chats are open. I don't usually promote them. I don't really tell you guys to donate, I say you guys can do that if you want. And you guys want to support podcasts. But, yeah, we're going to start promoting that just a little bit more, right? Especially now that we're back to live streaming. But, next up, the formation of RK Bro. The formation of RK Bro. So, this actually, I read an article earlier today that it was Randy Orton who expressed desire to work with Matt Riddle after WrestleMania. The plan was actually that he was going to continue the Matt Riddle and Sheamus feud. But I guess the reason why Riddle got squashed, I guess, by Lashley, I still don't understand that. WWE wanted to put Riddle with Orton because Orton expressed a desire to work with him, right? And this is one of the weirdest pairings we've ever seen, right? But it works somehow. It works somehow. Just because of, Riddle's very awkward, he's weird, and Randy Orton, he's calculating, he's a viper. And the thing about it is, Corey Graves was doing it on commentary tonight. He was expecting Randy Orton to strike on Matt Riddle at any moment. I was expecting it too. But it looks like, especially after me reading that report this morning, this could be a storyline that goes on for a couple months with Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. And if Orton actually cares, because a lot of people say that Orton doesn't really care about the business, right? If Orton truly does care about this Riddle story, and he actually has a desire to work with Matt Riddle, this could be better for Matt Riddle in the long run, and it could actually be good. Because we all know when Randy Orton cares about something, that's when he's at his best. So Riddle was getting interviewed backstage by that clown. That I think he's like British. I don't know who he is, but one of the clown backstage interviewers, one of the male ones, right? And he was talking about how he had a huge victory over Orton last week. Orton came over to Riddle and admitted that he underestimated him and that he kind of earned his respect, in the match. So, and he also said that the name RK Bro was kind of catchy. So he said, let's give it a try, right? He said, and this would lead to a match with Cedric Alexander and Benjamin. He said Riddle needed to follow his lead, and they're only going to take this one step at a time. So like I said, I came into the match thinking that Orton was most likely going to just RKO Riddle near the end here, right? To continue the feud and probably set up another, singles match between them. But for the most part, they actually work together, and I kind of like their interactions. It's a weird combination, but for some reason, it felt like it worked. And Orton lined up for the RKO, but he hit a fly RKO. Alexander flew off the top rope, and Orton hit him perfectly. Great looking RKO. Love when he gets those OMG ones. Those ones are like, holy shit, right? So then Riddle begged for the tag as Orton went to go finish off Benjamin, right? Orton did the spike DDT, and then he tagged Riddle in, and Riddle did the floating blow to get the win. Riddle tried to hug Orton after the match, but Orton backed him off and let him celebrate by himself, right? And then Orton was walking very slowly up the ramp, and Corey thought Orton was going to come back and strike Riddle with RKO any moment, but it didn't happen. So at least for this week, RK Bro is successful. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how far WWE goes with this. I have been complaining about the Raw Tag Team Division. You guys know this. I've been complaining about this Tag Team Division for weeks and weeks and weeks. And Paul says, poor Randy Orton being stuck with this jabroni Matt Ray. I know Paul wants Orton to go after the WWE title, but I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. Could Orton and Riddle, be the team to save the Raw Tag Team Division? I don't know. Like I said earlier, AJ and Almas, Almas is injured at the moment, so we don't know what's going to happen with them. But this could work. It could work. I don't know. I don't know if the end game here is them becoming Raw Tag Team Champions at some point. But, for at least for 1 week it worked, and let's see where it goes afterwards. There was a interview backstage with after the show with Riddle and Orton, and their interactions, man, it's funny. Riddle was talking about them winning all the tag titles and all this, and Orton just, every time Orton leaves, he would come back like 10 seconds later and be like, Riddle, man, calm down. And he would leave again and come back and be like, one day at a time. So, yeah, but I do agree with what Paul said. The tag team division, I've been saying that they need to be merged years ago, right? It was the most needed thing. I will never forgive WWE for when they had the Street Profits in the New Day flip titles after the draft. Like, I hate that moment so much. But either way, we'll see where they go with this, right? You don't have many teams on the Raw Tag Team Division anyway, so I don't know what stories that they can tell, but, like I said, it wasn't terrible for one night, and we'll just have to see where this goes. Could they eventually win the Raw Tag Team titles? Who knows? Next up, we had Asuka, Lana, and Naomi versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Rhea Ripley. This, like I said, I'm going to just remind you guys, what the fuck is going on with Rhea Ripley? Like, Does anybody in the chat understand Rhea Ripley's character these days? Because I don't. This is far and away from the Rhea Ripley I loved in NXT. This Rhea Ripley, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I look at Rhea Ripley and I tried to see the NXT Rhea that I loved so much, and then I just don't see it anymore. So, like, why the fuck is she teaming with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler? Like, why? I know a couple weeks ago, before WrestleMania, we talked about Rhea turning heel, but it never felt like an official heel turn. And then last week, you have Rhea saying that she knows that Asuka's going to be Charlotte, but wouldn't it be the opposite? If Rhea's a heel, why wouldn't she be aligning herself with Charlotte? And even still, that wouldn't make sense, because Rhea should have beef with Charlotte that spans all the way back to last year at WrestleMania. So it doesn't make any sense. So you have Rhea tagging with the heels tonight, and I guess that's supposed to tell you that Rhea is a heel in WWE's eyes, but they do a bad job of presenting it. Rhea's offense is the same as it was in NXT. I don't see anything heel about her. I don't. And I'm just like, if you're going to turn her heel, you got to do a better job of showcasing it. Right? So I'm just sitting there, I'm just like what? You know, it's just bad. It's just bad, right? And me and Paul were talking about this last night in our Discord, and we were talking about how Naomi's just wasted. Like, oh man, bro. I watched Naomi and Lana do their entrance last night, and I just sat there, I was like, how the hell are you wasting Naomi like this? You know, you didn't put her in the Hurt Business when you had the chance. You know, she's on Raw, so she can't be in the Tribal Chief faction with Roman and her cousin and her husband. So I'm just like, what the hell? Like, it's just like Naomi's so wasted. Seeing her and Lana with the matching ring gear doing the same entrance, I'm just like, what are we doing? You know, so like, unlike the tag team match from earlier in the night with, you know, the New Day and Damian Priest, this match was not good. I did not enjoy this match at all. You know, I was busy watching Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam a couple years ago. Match was not good. All right, so anyway, Ripley tagged in midway through the match. Asuka was able to get the upper hand. So then Lana got into the ring, and then Rhea started dominating the match. So then Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke came in halfway through, and Baszler tried to run them off because they had no business at ringside. But earlier in the night, Nia Jax got flowers from Angel Garza, and Reginald was like, those flowers aren't from me. You know, and Garza said these were from me, right? And I'm just like, whatever. Who the hell cares about that? Like, why is Reginald even on television? But anyway, then Nia smacked Mandy Rose with the roses that Garza gave her, trying to get payback because, you know, Rose and Brooke had been trying to bully her the last couple weeks, right? So then Rose and Dana Brooke, they threw a bucket of water on Shayna, and then Nia went to help her partner, but she ended up slipping in water a few times. WWE still is trying to make you think that that moment that Mandy Rose fell at WrestleMania, as funny a moment it was, WWE thinks that this is the way that you capitalize off that moment. This is not the way you capitalize on that moment. This is stupid. It's stupid and it's a waste of time. Honestly, it's like the same thing when you had Nia Jax put Lana through a table for like, what was it, 8-9 weeks? Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? There's nothing entertaining about this. The women's tag division is awful. It's awful. Like, how? How does Shayna Baszler gotta feel? Someone like her to be a badass like that, and this is how they're using you. This is how they're using you. You're getting buckets of water thrown on you? It's bad, man. What else do you want me to say? The show's bad. It's just, the Women's Tag Team Championships should really be abolished at this point. This is like, it's just getting more and more ridiculous every single week. I really can't believe this is how you're booking your feuds in that division. I really can't believe it. So, we come back from break. We see Lana make a hot tag to Asuka. Asuka, you know, did her normal stuff, knocking Ripley off the apron with her running hip strike, right? Then she went up getting the Baszler. So then Lana tagged herself back in, but then Ripley came in and hit her with a riptide. And then afterwards, Ripley would tag in Nia Jax for the big leg drop for the win. Look, the 6-man tag wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. It wasn't as good as the match we got earlier in the show. And still, man, I still don't understand why Ripley's a heel. I would like some kind of explanation. Don't insult my intelligence when you booked her like a babyface a couple weeks ago. Like, don't. It's a waste of time, bro. Waste of time. Let me look at the chat real quick. Oh, yeah, of course. I told you guys they rushed Rhea's push. So, like, they did the same thing with Bianca, but you guys, I've talked to people about the Bianca thing, and I understand their viewpoint on it, but still, in my opinion, they could have done better. All right? I understand people saying, oh, you know, superstars winning at WrestleMania and all that has to happen to create new stars. But honestly, is it helping Rhea at the end of the day? Rhea's like, people are turning on Rhea. No one's excited about her. You know, see, this comes off as bland. It just comes off as bland. You know, I liked Rhea Ripley a lot in NXT, but right now I don't get her character at all. They've done an awful job with her booking on the main roster and how she's presented. But y'all believe that she had to win at WrestleMania. I don't know. I hate saying I told you so, but that's just my opinion, man. Ripley's push was rushed heavily. All right. I'm looking at the chat real quick. Wait, hold on. Now we're gonna, and this is one of the reasons why I missed being live. What do you mean? Hold up. Dennis, I'm gonna call your ass out. What you mean? Don't talk about Bianca Belair. What do you mean? What do you mean? So while you're putting your little explanation, all right, let me go back to Rhea Ripley. I see somebody, JD says, her losing at WrestleMania 36 doesn't make any of this right. Hold up. Yeah, because that's the main reason, right? That's the main reason why Ripley won at Mania. Ripley should have never lost at Mania last year. Her winning this year doesn't make it right. Ripley has been booked awful. Because you guys were the ones who told me, oh yeah, Rhea Ripley. I didn't say this. You guys said this. Go back and look at the reviews. You guys said a lot of crazy stuff. You guys are talking about what I said in my salsa video the other day. You guys got to look at yourself. A couple weeks ago, on the road to WrestleMania, you guys were saying, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are winning at WrestleMania. It's like Batista and John Cena from WrestleMania 21. Really? Rhea has been booked awfully. Can you guys honestly say right now, you guys are proud of the Rhea Ripley we are presented with on television, and she is your Raw Women's Champion? Are you guys honestly proud? Did you guys honestly think Rhea winning at Mania, right, was what she needed with the way she's being booked right now, especially if Charlotte takes that title from her at WrestleMania Backlash? Come on. No, Dennis. No, Dennis. Don't say don't get mad at me. You told me not to talk about Bianca. So you're going to explain why. Give an explanation, bro. We're live. This is not a premiere. This is live on the Legit Shoot podcast. You guys wanted live streams back. Here we are. You say something in the chat. I see it. I'm going to ask you to respond. Don't run now because I caught you in 4K, bro. Say what you got to say. Rhea is awful right now. This is not the Rhea Ripley that should have held the NXT Women's Champion all of last year. Rhea has not been the same since that loss to Charlotte last year at WrestleMania 36 in the Performance Center. And here we are a year later, and Rhea still hasn't recovered from that loss. This Rhea Ripley, I don't know. There's nothing special about her. She just feels like another woman in that locker room. And it shouldn't be it shouldn't be that way. Paul says Rhea wasn't even supposed to be in that match at Mania. You're right. Who was it supposed to be? Charlotte and Lacey Evans. It wasn't even supposed to be Asuka, people. The second best female wrestler in the world, in my opinion, right? Asuka wasn't even supposed to be in that match. Remember, it was originally supposed to be Lacey Evans versus Charlotte Flair. And then it was changed to Charlotte versus Asuka. And then Charlotte got COVID, and then they put Ripley in there. Dennis, this is not about Sasha Banks. Go watch the other video. Or go watch my million Sasha Banks video. We're not talking about her right now. I want you to tell me about what you said earlier. And now I gotta go up in the chat. Because now I gotta figure out what you said. Oh yeah, no, yeah. Dennis, you said, don't talk about Bianca. Why? Because I'm going to compare, as long as Bianca and Rhea Ripley are champions, right? I'm going to compare their reigns. They're the two top women in the company right now. When you're the champion, that means you're at the top of the food chain. Rhea Ripley is the face of the Raw Women's division right now because he's the champion. Bianca is the face of the SmackDown Women's champion, all right? The SmackDown Women's division because he's the champion. So, explain. Explain what you said. Explain what you said. Why should we not talk about Bianca? Why? Bianca, I am more inclined to be easier on Bianca because she's been on the main roster a little bit longer. Plus, I've discussed this issue of Bianca versus Sasha Banks with a lot of people. A lot of people. And like I said, I've said it before. I say it again. Bianca beating Sasha Banks at WrestleMania will be judged based on Bianca's reign. It's early for Bianca. And I'm saying right now, Bianca should hold that title until at least SummerSlam, maybe till WrestleMania next year. It's one or the other. I haven't figured it out yet because I need to see who wins Money in the Bank. And I got to figure out all these other things. So I'm trying to be fair with Bianca. I will personally say I believe Bianca should have waited until SummerSlam for Bianca. But I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. What's done is done. But it all depends on how Bianca's booked as champion. Rhea, because at least Bianca, she won the Women's Royal Rumble. She's been on the main roster for a little bit. Even though Bianca's push was rushed, in my opinion, and she's been booked like garbage before winning at Mania, I am more inclined to be a little bit easier on Bianca. Let's see how her reign goes. Rhea Ripley? No, because on her first night on Monday Night Raw, she challenged Asuka. Her first night. She didn't win the Women's Royal Rumble. She didn't do anything. She shows up and she challenges Asuka. 2 weeks before WrestleMania. No story, no build. Nothing. Nothing. And then she beats Asuka at WrestleMania. But why do we care? They've given us no reason to care about Rhea Ripley. For people that didn't watch NXT, all you know about Rhea Ripley is from her match with Charlotte last year at WrestleMania and what we've gotten in the last month. And I'm telling you guys that the Rhea Ripley you see on the main roster now is not the Rhea Ripley from NXT. It's not the Rhea Ripley from NXT. It's a far cry from the Rhea Ripley in NXT. This is not the same character. It is not the same wrestler. But you guys wanted Rhea Ripley to win at WrestleMania. I remember the Raw review when I ranted for 20 minutes about Rhea Ripley and how they are messing it up. But you guys said, oh no, this is how we build new stars. How are we doing now? Does Rhea feel special as Raw Women's Champion? She doesn't feel special to me at all. You know what I'm going to say? I hate to say it. You know what Rhea Ripley reminds me of? Right now. Right now. They're not the same character. But as a champion, as the way she's presented as a champion, she's presented the same way Carmella was when she was SmackDown Women's Champion a couple years ago. They're not the same character. Don't mess my words up. The way they are presented as champions, they don't give me much of a reason to care. I didn't care much when Carmella was SmackDown Women's Champion. I was happy when she beat Charlotte, but they booked her terribly after that. She was just a whiny little heel. Rhea Ripley, there is nothing special about her right now. Nothing! That's what I'm trying to say. You guys want them to get these big moments, but who cares about Rhea Ripley right now? Can you honestly tell me that you care about Rhea Ripley right now? Because I don't. And I loved Rio Ripley in NXT. I loved her. But right now, I can't give a crap. Dennis, what do you mean? Now I'm getting mad. Now I'm getting mad. This is what you guys wanted, right? What? I just hate that you're talking bad about Bianca. We can talk about whoever we want. Bianca was booked terribly before WrestleMania. Get it through your head. Get it through your head. Bianca's push was rushed. Rushed. But no. If I say that, right, Fitz is just being a saucer mark again. No, Bianca was booked awfully before WrestleMania. Terrible. Right? Terrible. The only thing Bianca did when winning the Women's Royal Rumble, Sasha Banks bitch slapped her at Payback. Remember, or Fastlane. Do you guys remember that? Sasha Banks slapped Bianca Belair at Fastlane, and Bianca did nothing. I sat on here and I said, this is our future SmackDown Women's Champion. She got slapped. I don't care how much I love Sasha. If you get slapped by anybody, you slap them back. The way Bianca was presented was awful. So it's not me talking bad about Bianca. It's because I give a crap about Bianca. I want her to succeed. I'm a black man, people. Have you forgotten that? I'm a black man. Seeing Sasha and Bianca main event WrestleMania, that's huge to somebody like me. I want Bianca to be dominant. I want Bianca to be the next female star. Because the women's division, let's be honest, it's the 4 horsewomen, it's Ronda Rousey, it's Asuka. And there's nobody else. There's nobody else, right? So I want Bianca to be successful. But the way her path to WrestleMania was awful. And if they book Bianca as a bad SmackDown Women's Champion, I'm not going to sit here and say, just because I like Bianca, I don't care. No, I'm going to say it's bad. I'm going to say it's bad. So get the hell out of here. It's a bunch of nonsense. All right? Jeez. And then you're swearing in the chat saying F me. F you! What's wrong with you? It's my opinion. It's subjective. You act like I hate Bianca. That's my problem with you clowns. You act like me telling the truth and giving my opinion is me hating on a superstar. It's because I give a crap about Bianca. That's why I'm so passionate. The women's division is the part of WWE that I care the most about. I want it to succeed. Stop being so dumb and actually listen to what I'm saying. You can disagree with me. All right? That's fine. We're all different people. We all have our own opinions. But don't ever come and say that I'm hating on Bianca. And me talking about how she's booked is me hating on her. Because you wouldn't understand the way I feel. I want Bianca to succeed more than anybody. But the way we got to where we are now was garbage. And if Bianca's championship reign is garbage, I will say it's garbage. They wasted 2 pay-per-views with Sasha and Bianca going after the tag titles, then not even win the tag titles. That's good booking to you? That's good booking to you. Sasha bitch slapping Bianca, that's good booking to you. And Bianca sitting there and not doing anything. Sasha calling Bianca a rookie. No matter if it makes Sasha look like a badass, Bianca's sitting there and doing nothing about it. That's good to you? Go watch NXT Bianca Belair. Go watch it. Dummies, man. Some of you guys are so dumb. Don't ever say it's because I don't care and I'm hating on somebody. It's because I give a crap. You might not find anybody in this community that's more passionate about the women's division than this guy. Who spends the most time on their podcast talking about the women's division? While other people are talking about Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, I spend the majority of the podcast talking about the women's wrestling because that's what matters. I want the women to be on the same level of the men. Stupid, dumb crap! I didn't expect to go on a rant like that, but damn, bro. Let me look at the chat. I know a lot of you guys were saying a lot of stuff. Gregory, I would say, I wouldn't call Rhea the new Charlotte from a booking standpoint. It's way too early. Rhea's in her first reign as Raw Women's Champion. I just think that the way Rhea's presented is bad, right? I don't know. I don't think it's hard to get on Charlotte levels of bad. It truly is. It is really hard to get on Charlotte Flair levels of bad. But Rhea's just the way she's presented right now. Like I said, it reminds me of the way Carmella was presented as Women's Champion. You know, I just don't care. And I want to care about Rhea Ripley. I truly do, but oh my gosh. Let me look in the chat real quick. I did not expect to give a rant on my first day back. I agree with you, Paul. I doubt Rhea will ever be presented like Charlotte. I just don't care about Rhea right now. This is not the Rhea Ripley from NXT, people. It's not. Go watch Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. Go watch some of Rhea Ripley. Go watch Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. That's what I want you guys to do. This is... here, Professor Fitz. Professor Fitz is in the building. I'm here to educate you. I say that all the time, right? Here's your homework for next week's Raw review or the SmackDown review this weekend. Here's your homework. Go on Peacock. Go on Peacock. Peacock, baby. Right? Go on Peacock. Go back and watch Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Any match you can find. Either their NXT TakeOver match or anything like that. Go back and watch the Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair feud. I want you guys to go check that out. Right? Come back to me and tell me if the Rhea Ripley that you see on Monday Night Raw, right, and Bianca Belair, but more Rhea Ripley. This is more about Rhea Ripley than Bianca Belair. But I want you guys to go watch the Rhea Ripley and the Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair matches from NXT, and then report back to me on the next Raw review or SmackDown review and what you guys thought, right? And tell me if the Rhea Ripley and the Bianca Belair that you see now on the main roster as your Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions. Tell me if you see the same thing, the same way they presented now, if that's the same they were presented in NXT. Tell me if you see that similarity. I'm getting my words all messed up today, man. Damn, this is what happens when I get pissed. There's your homework. Yeah, Casey, I agree with you. Rhea versus Io, Rhea versus Shayna. Go back, but specifically, go watch any of those matches. Well, go back and watch Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair from the NXT TakeOver or NXT in general, because they had some really good NXT TV matches. Go on Peacock, find those matches, find that feud, go and watch it, and report back to me. The way Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are presented now as the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions, is that the same way they were presented in NXT? Let me know. Let me know. Oh my gosh, we need Cena back. I agree. Yo, Rachel, why do you keep bringing up Nikki Cross's Lily? We're not even talking about Alexa Bliss right now. Why do you keep repeating the same thing? Why? We will get to Alexa Bliss and Lily when we get there. Why do you keep repeating it every single 2 minutes? Be patient. What do you mean you admit Sasha's okay? She's the best in the world. Geez, and that's not even me being biased. That's my objective opinion. She's the best female wrestler in the world. There is nobody on her level. Maybe Asuka, that's the only person I can think of. It's not Charlotte. Becky has a lot to prove when she comes back. Bayley's fantastic. Ask Paul. We watched Sasha Banks versus Bayley from Hell in a Cell. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get back to the podcast, man. Woo. Sleeping Angels took the words right out of my mouth. Hi. But yeah, Rhea Ripley, man. Like I said, there's your homework. I'll remind you guys at the end of the podcast. The homework assignment. Professor Fitz in the building. Professor Fitz. That's a cool nickname. All right. Anyway, Next up, we had Charlotte Flair versus Mandy Rose, right? So this made zero sense, right? So I'll probably play the segment for you if I can find it, just because I need to calm down.
Son, we're grabbing burgers for dinner if you're interested.
I'm vegan, Walter.
You had bacon for breakfast.
First of all, thank you, Sonia, for the opportunity to repent. You know, I spent a week reflecting, and I really do understand the error of my ways. And I would like to make a sincere apology first to...
I said this on Twitter, or I think I did. Every week, Charlotte looks more and more like Motherboard from Cyber Chase. And I'm being serious, man. I don't know what is with these outfits she's been wearing. Like, I know everyone likes to look at Sasha and how she dresses and how, you know, she sets the standard when it comes to the best dress in the company. But, Charlotte, you're not doing a good job. Like, what the hell? You're looking more like a CPU every single day.
To WWE management, to the WWE universe, but most importantly to the referee, Eddie Arengo, for my childish ways. You know, I really don't understand what happened. It was, instinct just took over. But I'm here tonight to take the high road and to right the wrongs that I committed. So, Eddie, I'm really sorry for putting my hands on you. I'm so sorry for manhandling you last week.
Manhandling. Like, why was that needed? We all know Charlotte's a wrestler. She's built. What? Why did they have to put that crap in? Sounding like a robot more and more every day.
Charlotte, I accept your apology. I didn't see Rhea interfere. Had I did, you would have won the match.
Okay, great. Eddie accepts your apology, Charlotte. You have paid your $100,000 fine in full. That being said, I am happy to announce that Charlotte Flair's suspension has officially been lifted. And tonight...
She was suspended for 1 week. She wasn't even suspended. She was on the show last week. She was back on the show this week. We didn't even get time to miss her. Not like I ever would. They're acting like this is some kind of huge return when we just saw her clown ass on the show last week.
Tonight, she will return to in-ring action. You're going to be the referee of that match.
Wait, Sonia, there's one more thing. Eddie just said it was his mistake. I need you to apologize to me.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Good boy.
Good boy?
Okay, now that all the apologies are out of the way.
Good boy? Like, why? What is with these stupid remarks? Manhandling him? Calling him a good boy? Well, like, what is this? Is he your dog? Like, what is this? How is this supposed to make me care about Charlotte? This was pointless. The suspension meant nothing. She was back 1 week later. So she leaves the ring. She has the referee. Hold the ropes for her. So then Charlotte and Sonya go backstage to Gorilla where Adam Pearce is waiting for them.
So when the hell were you going to tell me about this?
Re-entered the Thunderdome through the back door, courtesy of Sonya Deville's assistance.
So when the hell were you going to tell me about this?
Adam, it was a last-minute thing. It happened right before the show, and I was trying to find you to tell you. Listen, I'm so sorry.
You're sorry. You're sorry. I might actually accept that apology if I actually believed it.
All right, so couple things from this. What, like, where the hell is this going? Like, where is this going? Like, I'm actually, first, right? Adam Pearce, I guess you could say he's the GM of Raw and SmackDown, but he has no title, right? He's called a WWE official, which is actually what you call the referees. So, I don't know. And Casey, I agree exactly what you said. Charlotte is the female version of babyface Roman Reigns. I 100% agree with that, right? Stuff down our throats, get off my TV, right? But I'm like trying to understand, like, first off, Adam Pearce, he's an official. Like, is he ever gonna get that Raw GM title, that Raw SmackDown GM title? Like, I don't know why they're calling him that. Second of all, isn't Sonya an official for SmackDown? Like, when did that title carry over to Raw? When did she get that type of power? Because she was a SmackDown superstar who then became a SmackDown official. So you're insulting my intelligence by having Sonya not only appear on Monday Night Raw, but then acting like she has some power to reinstate people. When did she gain that ability? Right? So then she lets Charlotte through the back door. I already complained about the suspension itself. So what's the point of all this? Is this leading to some kind of power struggle with Sonya and Adam Pearce that's eventually going to lead to Sonya getting back in the ring? Because remember, the main reason why Sonya was put in that backstage role, because WWE wanted to give her time off from wrestling. Because remember when she had the whole kidnapping, or she had the stalker that tried to kidnap her last year, right? They that was a big situation for her. So they wanted to, bring her, they wanted to keep her in the fold, but they wanted to wait till she was ready to be back in the ring. It's been months. Remember, some people thought Sonya was a favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble. There's actually some people that thought that. I wanted the Sasha Banks versus Sonya Deville match at some point, and maybe we could still get it, right? But I don't know. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why not have Sonya back in the ring? If this leads, like, if this like Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville thing leads to Sonya getting back in the ring, fine. And Sonya gets a nice little push, because like I've been saying this for years, Sonya is one of the most underrated in that women's division. She's Ronda Rousey 2.0 if you really think about it. She has that type of potential. She is great. Remember when she went on that little heel run last year before she lost to Mandy at SummerSlam? That was fantastic. She was doing really well, right? Honestly, right now, the way I think of it, I think Sonya should be one of the favorites to win Money in the Bank. Right now, we're still a long ways away from Money in the Bank, but I think Sonya should be one of the favorites. And I don't know who's gonna win. You can make arguments for Becky. Some people want Bayley. Some people want Sasha. We don't know if Sasha's gonna be back by then. There's a lot of options, but I feel like you should give it to somebody like Sonya. Right? And if you want, you could maybe have Sonya cash in on Bianca at some point, or have her cash in on the Raw Women's Championship. Right? Maybe like Charlotte wins the title from Rhea Ripley, and Sonya wins Money in the Bank, and maybe Sonya eventually cashes in on Charlotte. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways this story can go. Don't insult my intelligence by having Sonya on Raw when it makes no sense for her to be on Raw. She's not a Raw superstar. She's not a Raw superstar. Like, don't insult her intelligence. All right? That's my thing. All right? But either way, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know if you guys have any predictions about where this Charlotte Sonya thing could be going. All right? I do agree with you, Gregory. Becky and Sasha are above Money in the Bank. They are above that. All right? They don't need it. But I'm not against it, but they don't necessarily need it. Sasha doesn't need Money in the Bank to get a title shot whenever she wants. Same thing with Becky. That's why I'm saying you should probably use on somebody like Sonya, who's been underused and could really benefit from winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. All right. I'm looking at my notes. The way Bleach Reports has them is messed up. This would lead to later in the night to Charlotte having a match with Mandy Rose. Right? Remember we talked about Mandy a little bit earlier. Her bullying Nia Jax and whatever, that nonsense. So, Charlotte versus Mandy here. I don't know. I didn't watch this match because you guys, when Charlotte's on the screen, I just don't care. But supposedly, actually, I'm hearing that Mandy Rose looked decent in this match. Mandy got a decent enough of offense in early on. And yeah, like I said, look, Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville at SummerSlam last year. That's a good match. That's a really good match. Mandy Rose is very underrated in the ring. Sonya and Mandy are both severely underrated. They're not on the level of, Sasha and Bayley and Becky and Asuka. They're not on those levels, but they're good wrestlers. So like Sonya, I want to see her be women's champion one day, and maybe Mandy could be there too. I don't know. I don't think she'll ever get there. Like she can't even win the women's tag titles with Dana Brooke, But But Mandy's not terrible in the ring, There was a close call with the official that almost cost Charlotte. So that was, kind of following up from what happened with Charlotte and the referee last week. Charlotte was able to get the win, but she was still mad at the referee for almost costing her the victory. So I don't know where this storyline is leading to. What I would expect is most likely next week Charlotte's going to challenge Rhea Ripley at Backlash, and Charlotte's going to win the title. I don't want to see it, of course, right? Nobody wants to see Charlotte as a 13-time champion, but it's probably going to happen. That's where we're probably going with this. It's probably going to see Charlotte, Asuka, and Rhea at WrestleMania Backlash, and Charlotte's probably going to become 13-time champion. And then once again, when that happens, I will sit here and I will ask you guys the question, was this worth Rhea beating Asuka at Mania? Was it worth it? With the way Rhea's being presented on TV and the way it looks like they're pushing Charlotte Flair down our throats again. Where do you guys think this is leading? Okay, next. I think, let me look at my notes. Here we go. It's time for us to talk about what Rachel has been clamoring all day, the whole Lily situation, right? So like I said, Alexa Bliss has been one of my favorite things, one of the only things I've liked about Raw, right? And like I said, where the hell is The Fiend at? The Fiend has not been on TV now in 2 weeks. We haven't seen The Fiend since Mania. We saw Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse, but he's not being used at all either. So I don't know if they're rebranding that character altogether or what. We don't see AJ and Almas, because Almas is injured, right? We haven't seen The Fiend, We haven't even seen like Jeff Hardy or Ricochet on. Like what's going on? What's going on here? But either way, we know that the story here is like Alexa, she took the power of The Fiend and now she's using it for her own crazy mind games. And Alexa explained, that the promo that Alexa cut here, she was saying that Lily is getting restless in Alexa's playground. Like I said, I like Alexa Bliss. I like where this character is going. I can see this character eventually leading Alexa to winning the Raw Women's Championship at some point. I kind of want to see her win the title with this character. You guys know I was never a fan of the goddess, Alexa Bliss. But this character, I like it. And if done correctly, I could see Alexa winning the character or winning the Raw Women's Championship with it at some point. But you can't have Alexa cutting promos every single week. This is the third week in a row where you had Alexa cutting a promo, and it was good. Just like the week, last week, she was like, I shoved a little bitch off the swing. Hearing Alexa swear like that was really, really cool. But you can't have her do promos each week and not do anything in the ring. It's time to have Alexa start going through the Raw Women's division, start building her up, right? And then eventually, have her be, have a Raw Women's Championship opportunity. Not now, maybe a couple months down the line, but it's time to start to get the ball rolling with this, right? Let's see what this Lily thing is all about. Rachel keeps asking in the chat, could it be Nikki Cross? It could be. It could be. Nikki Cross has not been used on television. Nikki Cross has looked awful on television, this year when we see her. Her theme song is awful. Her gimmick is a far cry away. If you want to make a comparison, look at Rhea Ripley now in the way she was in NXT. Look at Nikki Cross now in the way she was in NXT. The gimmicks are completely different. So if Nikki Cross is teaming up with Alexa Bliss again, I would have no problem with that. If Lily, ends up being Nikki Cross, or Nikki Cross realigns herself, with Alexa Bliss and becomes that crazy character she was with Sanity back in the day in NXT. Remember Sanity, right? I would be excited. I would be very excited, very elated to see that. So hopefully, that's what they do. That's what they do. I would have no problem with that. Alexa and, Nikki, they could be using the women's tag team division, right? They're former women's tag champs. You could have those crazy characters run havoc, But think about it is we don't know. We don't know if Lily's Nikki Cross. We can't assume. But if Lily ended up being connected to Nikki Cross in some way, I would have no problem with that. But for right now, let's see where they take this with Alexa as a single star. If Nikki gets added in later on, then it is what it is. But let me play Alexa's promo.
Lily's truly my BFF. She understands me. She's a confidant, a mentor.
I do remember that, Paul.
A little devil and angel on my shoulder. Boop. But guess what? You too can have a Lily of your own.
Oh, really?
All you have to do is ask nicely. Come on, I'll show you. Come closer. Look into my eyes.
Oh, gosh.
Concentrate.
Okay.
Think dark thoughts. Think twisted thoughts. We all have them. Now repeat after me. Lily, Lily, Lily. Next, I want you to picture something peaceful. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Think about how peaceful it is. Did we get you? Sorry. That was her idea. Oh. But to be honest, I think Lily's getting a little restless just hanging out with me here on the playground. So I think it's time I unleash Lily to play with the rest of WWE. But don't blame me for what happens next. Lily made me do it.
All right, there you have it. Like I said, good promo by Alexis, Like I said, Alexa's best quality is her mic work, right? But it's time for Alexa to start showcasing us this in the ring. And hopefully she can actually give us a banger match. I always say this, Alexa's best match was probably against Sasha at SummerSlam 2017, right? I can't really think of any other great Alexa matches, right? And I want to like this character. I want her to do good things with it, but she also got to prove us in the ring that it's something for us to get invested into. Because you have all these new wacky powers that you got from the Fiend, supposedly per storyline. It's time to start showcasing us that. You can't just, you can't expect, people to want to see you succeed and go to the Raw Women's Championship just based off promo work alone. You know what I mean? I understand, you know, not... Let me look in the chat real quick. Oh, yeah, true. I agree with you there. The Elimination Chamber, I think that was Elimination Chamber 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. Alexa versus Nia was awful that year, though. One of the worst women's matches I've ever seen at WrestleMania. Let me look in the chat. Bliss is a better blonde than Charlotte? Yeah. Well, I think Alexa and Slim Angel, I think Sasha and Alexa had kind of buried the hatchet from that beef. I know Sasha said in an interview last year that she would want, if she could have one tag team partner, it would be Alexa Bliss. You know, I don't know if she was joking, you know, but based on what I've heard, you know, that beef has kind of died down. It's more just like Sasha fans and Alexa fans just, you know, going at it. You know, I don't try to pay attention to that too much because it's not worth my time. But I don't know. All right, anyway. What else? I think the last thing is the WWE Championship situation. If I am correct. Right? We already talked about Mason T-Bar being wasted, right? Like I said, just let them go back to their NXT identities. Like, please, man. Anyway, am I missing anything? Let me just go through and make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, last thing. So, let me play Bobby Lashley's promo. So, lastly, man, I love the thing I love about Bobby Lashley is he looks the part so well. Like, his suit game is fire. Like, I say this, Byron Saxton's dumb ass can't dress. You know, if Byron Saxton wants to take notes from Bobby Lashley, man. That guy knows how to dress the part. Love it. But Lashley cut a decent promo because he talked about how at WrestleMania Backlash, if Strowman, you know, beat McIntyre later in the night, it would become a triple threat. And that's the same way Lashley lost the United States Championship. And the thing is, he wasn't even pinned in that match. You know, so I liked how Lashley brought that up. So he had to protect his own business interests and protect his reign as WWE Champion because he didn't fight for 16 years to get to the WWE Championship just to lose it in a couple months. You know, and also I loved how Lashley talked about how he felt like he got the respect he earned from the crowd when he beat McIntyre at WrestleMania, which is true because, you know, that crowd was more for Bobby Lashley than Drew McIntyre. I felt like Drew would have got a lot more boos if he beat Lashley at Mania. But let me play Lashley's promo.
Listen, a few weeks ago, I did exactly what I said I was going to do.
Dresses like Frank Ball.
And walked out WrestleMania, the WWE champion. You did that. I held this title up high, and I commanded respect. And the respect that I received from the live audience that we haven't seen for over a year was like a dream come true. Live audience that we haven't seen for, and the respect that I received from the live audience that we haven't seen for over a year was like a dream come true.
Yep.
Good, man. Felt good. And it felt better because Drew was at my feet, crumpled up like a dollar bill that had been thrown on the sidewalk that nobody cares about.
And MVP takes out a dollar bill and actually crumbles it up.
But now Drew is like this piece of bubble gum that's stuck on the bottom of my shoe that I can't get rid of. Because now, at WrestleMania Backlash, I have to defend my title against Drew McIntyre again. And I will beat Drew McIntyre again.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I like how Lashley has that intensity on the microphone. He's not the greatest mic worker. We know that. You know, Lashley's strong point comes from his in-ring ability. He's not the best mic worker, but when he's intense, though, it makes what he says that much better because he doesn't have to say much. He doesn't have to say much. But the thing about it is, it looks like his mic work is getting a little bit better.
But this time, there's a possibility that this is a triple threat match.
Now, see, I'm offended by that. I'm offended by that. And I'd like to know, why would the WWE treat their most prestigious, most dominant champion so poorly? Why would they do that? Bobby Lashley is the chief hurt officer of the Hurt Business and the almighty WWE champion. So any business that the WWE would like to conduct that involves that championship can't be conducted without first consulting the chief and the champ. Bobby Lashley has been the almighty WWE champion for 56 days. And now you're telling me that his reign could potentially be in jeopardy because of a triple threat match that he wasn't even consulted about? Look, we've seen this play out before. That's how he lost the United States Championship. Because
Yep, and that's where I'll stop the promo because you guys get the gist of it. Lashley would just go on to say that he would be, like I just said earlier, he would be there watching Strowman's match with McIntyre. And Lashley was there. He actually tried interfering in the match because he wanted McIntyre to win. Because he knows winning, a triple threat match, it's more dangerous, a triple threat match is more dangerous, the Lashley's title reign than a singles match with McIntyre again, right? The odds decrease, and he doesn't even have to be pinned to lose the title. So I liked Lashley's mindset that, he was actually trying to help McIntyre win the match instead of Strowman. But then T-Bar and Mace got involved, and they attacked McIntyre. McIntyre was able to throw him down to the apron, and then Strowman hit McIntyre with a power slam. 1, 2, 3, and there you have it. It's now a triple threat match at WrestleMania. WrestleMania Backlash. And the thing about it is, my thoughts on it is, it feels to me that they're trying to recapture the triple threat match from WrestleMania 37 Night 2 with Roman, Edge, and Bryan. They saw how great that triple threat match was, and then the night right after they did Orton versus Strowman versus McIntyre in the number one contenders match. And now here we are again. They're going to do McIntyre, Strowman, and Lashley for the championship at Backlash. We could also see them do Charlotte versus Asuka versus Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match. So it feels like WWE wants to do as many triple threat matches as possible because they want to keep up that momentum from the great triple threat match with Roman, Bryan, and Edge from WrestleMania. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care really much about this match. All that matters is Lashley retains. As long as he retains, that's all that matters. Because I want, and I know you guys want it as well, you guys and I want Lashley and Lesnar at Mania. It's that simple. It's that simple. The end of the show was not good. The show in general was not good, even though a lot happened. But this was not a good show. It was not a good show. But either way, it is what it is. Honestly, man. But I'm tired, man. It's been a while since we've done the live streams, so I'm going to get out of here. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I'll be back here this weekend for SmackDown. Also, I want to remind you guys your homework. Go watch Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley from NXT. Their NXT TV matches or their NXT TakeOver matches. And tell me if the way they're presented in those matches is, tell me if the way they were presented is better or worse than the way they're presented now on Raw and SmackDown as the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions. Let me know about that. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for the love and support. Great to be back. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel by hitting the bell next to my name, Fitz on TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'll be back here next week. You guys stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.